Joining me now is Jason Strazuso. He is the global media team leader for the International Committee of the Red Cross. So, Jason, President Biden is calling for a pause in the fighting in Gaza. But today, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there would be no ceasefire without a hostage release. What are you hearing from your teams on the ground about the humanitarian situation inside of Gaza right now?
You know, we just had this surgical team who was able to enter into Gaza a couple days ago, and they're in one of the hospitals and operating on people now. And it's really painful to hear the stories that are coming from this team. They talk about a majority of their patients are burn victims, and a majority of their patients are children. And then they send images that are way too graphic to share, the images you don't want to see. Because the pain that the child or the patient is going through, or the family is going through watching this person try to recover. So I mention this because our surgeon has said already, even though they just got there and they went in with a shipment of medical supplies, they're running low on medical supplies. And he knows, just looking a couple days ahead, that when he needs to work on that next burn patient, he's not going to have anesthetic he needs, or he may not even have the bandages that he needs. So there's been these dozens of trucks that have gone in, but we know that it's not nearly enough. And there just needs to be a continuous flow of humanitarian assistance. And I'm talking about medical supplies to alleviate all the suffering.
Yeah, and today President Biden was asked about trying to get Americans out of Gaza. He said that, quote, they'll be coming home. I know the Red Cross has been involved in these efforts to try and get hostages safely out of Gaza. Can you tell us anything about those efforts? And is there anything new on that front?
I wish that there was something new. We probably all remember well that just a couple days ago, a week ago, we did participate in those two operations that saw 4 hostages taken out of Hamas's hands and into the safety of their families. We continue to have conversations with Hamas. We continue to ask for access to the hostages, and we continue to insist that they be released, because that's the baseline issue here, is that they should not be held. I hope with all my heart that there will be more releases in the future. We're continuing to have the conversations, but I wouldn't be able to provide any more details about what direction those conversations are moving in.
You talk about the need for medical supplies. That's just one aspect of the humanitarian need there. The United Nations aid chief, Martin Griffiths, said that there's been, quote, some progress in negotiations that would allow fuel into Gaza. But the Israeli prime minister said today that Israel's not going to allow any fuel into the Gaza Strip. You talked about the huge issues that crop up with the lack of medical supplies. What would it mean if no fuel is allowed into the area?
Well, the number one thing we're looking at is, are hospitals able to operate their machinery, the machinery that keeps people alive, the machinery, or even, let's say, the lights that allow a medical team to go into an operating theater. So that's our interest. We understand why this can be seen as a contentious issue, but our baseline position on this is that we can't be in a situation where hospitals completely run out of electricity and energy and can't run the machines that they need to run to keep people alive, and can't open an operating theater to save lives.